at the Fourth Wall in North Hollywood. We feeling good tonight? Are we feeling good? Fuck yeah. I'm excited to hear it. There's a few less people in the house tonight, but I'm not gonna hold it against anybody. I feel twice as much energy, so I think the right people came out to this show. You feeling that? Absolutely. Let's get right into it. Wonderful. We're in the midst of the longest government shutdown in history. Congratulations, we're all winners. You guys sick of winning yet? Are we there? Are we sick of winning? It's the longest government shutdown in history, which is great, though, because it marks another first for Trump. He's finally excited that someone is describing something about him as long. It's a
Rob, that's a little fact-checking issue here. It turns out Trump actually holds the world record for the longest single hair coiled around a person's head.
All right. Fact, yeah. Fair enough. Travis Clyburn, everybody on the fact check. That's why we've got him here. That's why he's doing it. If you didn't catch it, one of my favorite things that happened this week was Trump from the Oval Office in prime time told everybody a little bedtime story. Did you catch that? A chilling bedtime story. The scariest thing, someone got killed with a hammer. Oh my goodness, they don't do that kind of stuff on CSI. But it's okay if you were frightened immediately after America's grandparents, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, came out, calm everybody down, right? No, it's good. It's nice to finally see George and Lucille Bluth back in prime time, right? That's good. That's good, even if they're not the ones with the Arrested Development. Ha! That's a pretty smart joke. Okay. No, it was good. It was great. And one of the things that I loved is that we finally got to see Trump's first premiere back into prime time, right? And Mr. Apprentice himself got trounced in the ratings by his following act. The response, which was half the time, crushed his ratings. I love that, especially since Chuck Schumer started his addresses. He starts all of his addresses with, yes, I'd like to speak with the manager. If you really quickly. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, crazy. Here's another thing. Trump goes down to the border, right, for a little publicity stunt with his longtime friend / foe / throat to fuck Ted Cruz. And throat to fuck is what I just said. Yeah, that's who he is. On the advice of everyone in his life, he's finally taken some initiative and decided to cover half of his face. It's fancy. He's grown something of a beard, if you can call it. It looks like he's cosplaying Wolverine, doesn't he? A little bit, right? But if the experiment didn't leave him with a metal skeleton, but instead with no spine, okay. All right. Fuck that guy. Oh, my God. What else? Oh, I woke up Saturday, right? I wake up Saturday morning. The headlines are all over the place. FBI launched Trump investigation. And I thought I knew that. I thought I already knew about that one for the last 2 years. What are you talking about? So apparently within this massive Russia investigation, within that is a smaller Russia investigation, apparently. Yeah, and within that is an even smaller Russia investigation. You crack that open, there's a little chocolate. Everybody gets one, right? That's fun. Russian, all right. Exciting this weekend. Just this weekend, the first Democrats to throw their hat in the ring for 2020. They finally announced the first two, former Obama Housing Secretary Julian Castro and Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard, right? That's fun. That's exciting. Yeah, right? Julian Castro and Tulsi Gabbard. We will keep you posted if anyone with a real name enters the race. That'll be news. All right. Elizabeth Warren, she's already launched the exploratory committee. She's meeting with Obama and Clinton staffers before, so we can pretty much expect her to make an announcement sometime soon. Are we any Elizabeth Warren fans in the audience at all? Anyone on that bus? I gotta say, as a progressive, I love Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if she can win, but I want to see her in this fight so badly. And I think my favorite thing about her is that she's not afraid to just stand up to the bully that is Donald Trump, right? She will throw it right back in his direction. She doesn't care. He's more than a bully. He's a hot mess. I think we can all agree, right? He is a hot mess of a president, yeah? Absolutely. And she's not afraid. She's not afraid to jab at a hot mess, you know? She will poke a hot mess. She will do it. And I say hell yes. Can we get it? Yeah, poke a hot mess. Poke a hot mess. Poke a hot mess. Wow, that got out of control. Did not go the way that I thought it would. Okay, all right, I'm just putting that together. Oh my goodness. This room got on board with that fast. Very quick to chant at robbing the people. That might have be how we got into some of this trouble. All right, and finally, one of my favorite stories of the last 2 weeks, newly elected representative, Rashida Tlaib from Michigan, made news. Yeah, she was speaking to some of her supporters, and she was caught on video saying, "We're gonna impeach the motherfucker." Yeah, right? Yeah, not a lot of Congress women throwing language around like that. I'm a fan. Of course, it was a little confusing. Sarah Sanders immediately came out and corrected the record. She was like, Donald Trump immediately abandons any woman after she gives birth. Fucking mothers is the last thing he wants to do. Next question. No, not you, Jim. Next question. Let's do it. That's all we got time for the monologue, but we got to keep it moving. We got a fucking great show for you guys tonight. It's going to be fantastic. I have some of my favorite stuff. Now, we don't do paid ads on this show at this time because we cannot convince anyone to pay us to put ads on this show at this time. And in the meantime, though, we do have a lot of really badass stuff going on here at Fourth Wall that we want you to know about. We got a new location opened up in Hollywood this week, so go check that out. It's on Western. It's beautiful. There's 2 locations as well. Let's take a look at some of the stuff going on at Fourth Wall.
Cool.
Good to be here. Good to see you and all that shit. Jesus. Fuck, the last mic was so supportive.
We've got to be out of time, right?
Great time. It was a good time.
Wonderful.
I can already tell this is just going to be garbage.
Yeah, got it.
I can just tell.
Good. We did it. God damn it. Yeah, shit. Yeah, you're gonna sit actually right here. Wonderful. Tell me when we're back, Travis. It's got to already be happening. There's no way that 60 seconds passed. We good?
We're back.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Fantastic. Doing ads on this show that I made. That's fun. Okay, moving on. I will say, as I mentioned before, this is a political show, so even though what we talk about is often ill-informed and ridiculous, our perspective, we are talking about real stuff here. So I'm not interested in having like Hollywood actors on to discuss their latest roles. Like that could not be less interesting to me. I can't think of anything less interesting to do. But that being said, I've invited one of my favorite Hollywood actors on to discuss his latest role because I find it fascinating. He recently played the small role of Alan in the movie Vice, wherein he explained to Christian Bale as Dick Cheney that he is indeed a Republican. Here to tell us more about how he ruined our nation, my dear friend, Stephen Friedrich, everybody. Yeah, let's hear it for him. Let's hear it for Stephen.
Thank you.
So I'm so happy to have you on this. You're our second one-on-one non-comic guest, so no pressure there.
I watched the other one.
Did you?
It's a tough act to follow.
Sky, did you like that? You like that chat?
2 different names, which is already
yeah, you're already setting yourself apart,
a lot more
right?
to memorize already.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was wonderful last week. I don't pole dance. And I don't know anything about science. But
I think, I have to say, though, I think your Instagram would be vastly improved if you had more shots of your butt.
I tried, and you would be surprised how quickly people abandon you.
The following count just drops.
Need. Yeah, a lot of oil, too.
I can't even imagine. So
I think you can.
He's right. Okay, so let's talk about why I have you on the show. As I mentioned in the setup, I'm not interested in being like, oh, so your latest film, and that kind of stuff. Right. But you did a movie that I saw on opening day I was so excited for, and you were a very smart actor. You did not tell any of your friends you were in it, just in case you got cut out of the movie and we all showed up disappointed. Exactly right. That is exactly fucking smart. Take notes, everybody. Yep. Don't tell them until it airs.
Yep. I made that mistake. I did a small scene in the first season of Mr. Robot.
Oh, nice.
And got boned out of it because I was wildly uninteresting, and I look like this. I actually looked less like this. I had short hair, so I was most of this country. And they had me in a Princeton sweatshirt, and I was so excited. I got a bottle of wine, and I was ready to watch it. I posted about it, and then I watched the episode, and they cut my page-and-a-half scene down to me going, "What?" And then it cuts, and I just went, glug, glug, glug.
Oh,
and
that's
I
brutal.
deleted everything. Yeah.
The only thing worse than that is if you just like seen a body bag go across the screen. You're like, yeah, shit. Well, that guy's not talking.
Preferable
Right.
to the situation, because my family told people. It gets really bad.
You know, I have to say, I remember you posting about it, and then I never saw it. And I was like, whatever happened with Mr. Robot? All right, lesson learned.
Okay.
So let's talk about this movie, because I loved this movie from beginning to end, and I, of course, loved it even more when one of my best buddies shows up in a scene all of a sudden. And one of the reasons why I want to talk about this movie, so really quick, if you haven't seen this movie, get out and check this out. If you're watching this show at all, you'll like the movie. It is a well-produced, well-directed piece, and I love that it has this disclaimer at the top of the movie when it first starts that says, "We fucking did our best." Yeah. Like literally, like it tells you, it's like this is maybe as close to what happened as we could do, but he's like one of the most secretive presidents. Let's just call him the president. The most secretive presidents we've ever had is Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
And so to dive into this, let me ask you this. You're a few years younger than me. How conscious were you about the George W. Bush presidency? Were you paying attention to that at all as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I was 12 and in Boy Scouts in North Carolina, so I was inundated by conservatives,
right.
Which are good people, and my family, my dad was always a very liberal conservative, so he had a lot of difficulty blending in a world full of camouflage pants, and and I remember he cried when he went and voted for Bush for the re-election, because he was like bummed that he felt like he was backed into a corner.
Right.
Because he didn't really align with the Democratic Party yet. And then Obama came along, and now my whole family are just, the best kind of Democrats,
right?
Which are the ones that don't post about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's their immediate change that
right.
they give to the world.
They show up to their art school kids stuff,
yeah,
as opposed. Anyway, right, I'm not bitter or anything. I just yeah. No, it sounds great.
Hey, Mom, thanks for coming out tonight.
Yeah, we love it, Marina.
She's not here. They're still in North Carolina. But yeah, I was very aware. Because my dad was so disappointed with politics in America, which a lot of people are now very aware because of social media and are able to have a conversation nonstop about how stupid all these old white people are that are running our country. Oh, sorry, white men are that are running our country. And but I grew up in a family where my dad was very much on top of it all the time. I knew that Dick Cheney had his hands deep in oil pockets, and it was not political at any time.
So when you got cast in this movie, and then you saw, let's just say when you auditioned even for the movie, did you know that Adam McKay was attached to it when you were auditioning early? You knew that Adam McKay was making a biopic about a politician.
Yes.
Which to me is, I want to say before you answer, just that's the whole reason that I have you on the show, that I think the movie is so interesting, and it relates to the conversation we had last week, which is how do we make this shit more fun? How do we make it more engaging? Like, how do we tell these stories that American citizens as citizens need to know, but not have Oliver Stone do it? Like, there's other people. With all due respect, I mean, he's a lunatic, but
sorry, Oliver.
but it's like to have someone like who did
Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega Nights and Anchorman to tell us the story of Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
What did that feel like going into that process?
I think you immediately know that the story is actually going to be told clearer.
That's the opposite of what I would think.
Exactly.
Have you seen the movies I just named? They have no story.
That's exactly
That's what
right.
I'm saying.
But
when he was stuck with telling a real story.
The characters are clearer than if you watch like an old Elizabethan rendition of something. They're trying to tell the story as true as possible, and all you're watching are people saying lines. But if you create an environment in which these characters are ridiculous and incredulous, you get a better grasp on who they are and what they're trying to do. So this is one of the most embarrassing things about myself. One of the movies that I've watched the most, my favorite movie is not the movie I've seen the most. My favorite movies are wonderful. The movie I've watched the most is Baz Luhrmann's Great Gatsby.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it's not good, but but what he did was he took a movie and from a book that is way too short to be as long as the movie was, but he removed it from the reality of it, and in doing so was able to create intricate characters that you were able to see more clearly because they weren't, a mirror held up to life. Because if you hold a mirror, I also think going back to the entertainment industry wanting to talk about politics, there's an amount of time that seems to have to pass so that it's not in front of us. Like if somebody made a movie right now about Donald Trump, you'd just be like, no, stop, it's happening, we're looking at it. It's if I wanted to watch this Joker, I'd watch the news.
Right, yeah, no, exactly.
So that enough time has passed that you're able to create that buffer of fiction to make it entertaining.
Right. No, I think that makes a lot of sense, and but at the same time, I don't think that would have saved W either, which I brought that up in contrast. I would say the biggest problem with it is that it was released while he was still the president, which is usually a bad call when you're making a biopic. They either got to quit or die. You can't make a movie about someone while they're still doing whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
I think those are the rules.
That's very true.
But so when I'll ask you one of the questions that has been on my mind. In the whole movie, I feel like even though your part was smaller, Dick Cheney was like nicer to you than he was to anybody else.
Absolutely.
You had like a nice, clean, friendly moment with Dick Cheney, which even in a fictional world might make you the only person who has that story to tell.
That's actually, I have a wonderful scene where it's just at his grasping of the potential in politics for someone who has no power, no say, and no motivation in life.
He doesn't know what party he's in. You tell him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then he finds out that if you grab hold to a dick, you're dating it. You know what I mean? That's his mentality going into all that. He was like, this, you and me forever. And that's where the movie takes off.
I hope that's you in your acting career, man. I hope that's just you know what I mean?
I've hold to so many. And they constantly go, whoop,
okay.
Smaller than I thought.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing the show and being my guest. Again, Stephen Friedrich, everybody. Let him hear it. Wonderful. Perfect. Thanks, dude. All right. Yeah, keep it going. Let him hear it. God damn it. All right. You guys ready? Let's move on. We're moving on. In addition to our one-on-one segment, we had, a new segment last week. We wanted to, on the show, invite people who we trust to bring their unique opinions on the important issues. So this is a hot issue. Last week we talked about interracial dating. This week we're talking about prison reform. It's been a wild couple years in that regard. Donald Trump campaigned on a notoriously tough on crime platform. That was his whole thing. And yet, at the end of last year, he signed a bipartisan piece of legislation called the First Step Act that is designed to ease mass incarceration. So we're all trying to wrap our heads around what the fuck that means. Here to help us do that is our newest contributor, Hannah Canetti, everybody.
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Thank
How are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very excited to have you here.
Okay, great. Let's talk about this horrific policy they're calling the First Step Act.
Horrific. I thought it was bipartisan. I thought everybody was on board with it.
Not everybody. I think because some people don't know the idea behind it. Basically, it's this measure to reduce prison sentences for the lowest this country has to offer. So, for example, the 3 strikes policy, where you would, if you were a previously convicted felon, you would get life in jail. Now it's only 25 years. That's it. And if that weren't bad enough, they're increasing these things called good time credits, which rewards an inmate's good behavior by reducing their jail sentence. Oh my God, I don't think I'm editorializing when I say what the fuck. I mean, these are rapists. These are murderers. These are man-stealing sluts. They don't deserve redemption.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. That's a lot. Okay, so here's one thing that the bill aims to do is it's targeted to help nonviolent drug offenders, right? So we're trying to end the criminalizing of addiction, which is terrible. What about rehabilitation?
Okay, so what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're a drug addict and you want the American people to bail you out. What I'm hearing is that you want me to help sneak you into CVS so you can steal all the Adderall, and then I only get 3 of them? Am I hearing this right?
No. No, what I'm saying is that I think that there's a lot of different crimes and a lot of different criminals. These mandatory minimum sentences, they're unfair.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. But so now what I'm hearing, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you want rapists to roam the street. You know what, Rob? Why don't we just let rapists run the country?
Well, they do.
You know what? I expected this kind of weak perspective from a little pussy-ass bitch like you, but from our president, Donald Trump. I thought he was anti-criminal, but now that he's folded on this, it's like anyone can do whatever they want.
I guess it kind of makes sense, like with half of his cabinet and White House staff, headed to jail. It makes sense why he would loosen up, I guess.
You know what? Next thing you know, he's just going to get rid of solitary confinement.
That actually may not be a bad thing, because a lot of experts and psychologists, they say it's like a form of torture, that it actually does more harm to the incarcerated person than it does rehabilitate them.
Okay. You're being a little dramatic. It's not that bad.
I mean, a lot of people commit suicide during or afterwards.
Okay, but are you in favor of decreasing the prison population or not?
Holy shit.
Like, I'm not dumb. I know the arguments, okay? Like, Hannah, solitary can fucking exhibit signs.
You know the arguments.
Look,
Tell me the
I know
arguments.
The arguments, Rob. Okay,
Yeah,
people say
sorry.
that solitary can make you more mentally ill, and it can increase depression and cause PTSD, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and some people say that it can make you bite your own skin off to deal with the paralyzing boredom. Like, I get it.
Wait, so you have rebuttals for that, or you don't?
No, I'm just saying that if you do something bad, you should be punished.
No, I'm okay with that. I Jesus Christ. I feel like I feel like you do something, you serve the time, and eventually there's got to be a second chance for everybody. And besides, the prisons are full. Like, we have more prisoners than any other country. Like, and we're paying for that. Like, you and I, the taxpayer, we're paying for those long prison sentences.
That's ridiculous.
Is it?
I don't pay taxes.
Did not know that. All right. Well, but you can go to jail for that.
White women under 30 do not go to jail, Rob.
That's a fair point. That's a good point.
But now, that prison is just such a wonderful place where rapists and terrorists get off after 5 minutes. Why don't we all just go do whatever we want? Why don't we come into your house and boil your mom alive and stab you in the fucking face?
Okay, this has gone a little off the rails, and maybe how about this? We find some common ground. Let's try to find some common ground.
Sure.
Yeah, Jesus. Do you agree with the saying that a nation's greatness is measured by how it treats its weakest members?
Well, it depends who said it.
It was Gandhi, right?
Oh my God, no, he's insane.
He's insane?
Yeah, he's a racist misogynist.
Okay, that's true. Hannah Canetti, everybody! Woo! All right. I'm all tangled up in this love. All right. That's halftime, kids. We are halfway through the show. We got so much more show for you. We got the wonderful panel. Before we get to that, one of our guests from next week, Chris Rubio, and our dear friend Amir, the Miracle Khalil, they want to know who's going to be on the show the rest of the season. So they put together a little video for us. Let's take a look.
Robbing the people, and the whole concept is
It's a political show.
it's a political show. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
And then we have comics talking about the crooked politicians, right?
Yes.
Okay. Robbing the people, huh? 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 Who are they robbing? The people, huh? Robbing the people. Who are they robbing? Huh? Robbing the people, huh? Robbing the people, huh?
Hey, Trap.
Robbing the people, huh? Robbing the people, huh? Robbing the people.
Who the fuck you robbing?
Robbing the people, huh? Robbing the people, huh? Robbing the people, huh? Robbing Robin, 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 Robin.
Thank you for
White people.
Robin the people, Robin.
Yeah, we about to shit all
thank
over
God.
your show, Robin. Robin.
It may not make
What?
it onto the
Yeah,
panel.
Robbing the people, yeah, but check it, 1, 2, check it, 1, 2. We robbing the people January
Can you,
6th.
Kane, can you push
Here
that
at
a little
Fourth
closer?
Wall, live.
To the
You gonna
camera.
see
In
a
the future, as
scrawny-looking
close
white
as
dude
that can
that's
be
kind
to
of
the
halfway
actual camera,
retarded
the
and
better.
autistic.
All right.
Host the show.
Wonderful. Welcome back,
And,
everybody. The time has come, friends. The time has come for the time you've all been waiting for. God damn it. Don't change the channel. It's time for the panel. My first guest. Yeah, I'm out of rhymes for that. Next week I have to come up with something else. My first guest you've seen as Pete the Plumber on Comedy Central's Detroiters. He's Mike from Detroit. He's Mike Eshaq, everybody. Woo! Yes, sir. Either one. I don't give a shit. Wonderful.
Thank
All
you.
right. Let's do it. My next guest, you know from his reality TV days on BET's College Hill. He's been all over True TV. He's the always hilarious, wonderful comedian, Willie Macc, everybody. Let's hear
Yeah.
it. Yes, sir. Oh, man, we need some music to play on these motherfuckers. Noted. I just noted that
Start
tonight.
beatboxing in between.
I think that's a good idea. Maybe we talk to Chris Rubio and Amir and we see if they want to.
Oh, dude, they got to be our house band.
They would put something together. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to
man.
Robbing the People. This ragtag group of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, so maybe you can bring us up to the level. You think?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Fucking perfect. I like two totally different. He's like, no problem, not happening. Fantastic. I do want to say really quick before we get going, I want to thank you, Willie, for coming to one of our shows we had in the fall. Oh, yeah. We got Unprovocated. You absolutely just rolled through and watched one of our live shows. I want you to know I really appreciate it. Also, welcome Mike.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, fantastic.
Welcome,
Thank
Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
Let's get right into this. I want to talk about this as few times as possible, but because we had our first announcements about 2020, let's get that out of the way. Let's talk about 2020 real quick on the Democratic side. So I made some jokes about Julian Castro and Tulsi Gabbard. I actually really do love Tulsi Gabbard. She was, for anyone watching who doesn't know, she's the one who quit working at the DNC when they found out they were basically rigging it for Hillary. She was like, yeah, I'm fucking out of this. Yeah, 100%. I love that shit. She refused to play the game, and she was Bernie all the way into the ground with me. So it was both of us loving his shit all the way to the end. But let's just say, I'll just freeball it. Like, who do you think is going to who do you think should go up against Donald Trump in 2020?
Donald Trump.
Well, how does that work?
Just another Donald Trump. That'd be great.
We need another guy that's
They're
just like
fucking
him.
Perfect. It'd be great. You know how fun it would be?
I don't know if we could clone people, and we might have to come up with more creative shit than that.
Yeah, you're right.
Really?
Donald Trump for the longest was a Democrat. He
Yeah.
said it in the 80s and 90s. This is just a change for him.
Right.
He's just fucking with us. That's all this really is about.
Do you think it's going to be like a sharp turn then? I don't think he's going to come out one day and be like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, gotcha! Like, you're fired, I got you. I don't see it happening. It's probably.
You know what? It was funny, but so many people were hoping that was going to happen. Like, he was going to become president.
Right.
And he's like, ha ha, bitches, I'm a Democrat.
Right, yeah.
Didn't happen. Didn't
No,
happen. He
keep
just
holding
doubled
your
down,
breath.
man. Doubled down hard.
I think that's one of the things that I've talked many times privately and on the show, I think, about how really Donald Trump is like a really good, bad comedian. You know what I mean? Like when I went and saw
Yeah, that's right. He's
know what
a
I
very
mean?
good, bad comedian.
but he's bad comic. Like, it's not like you go and if you have good taste in comedy, you're like,
Right.
this is a hell of a show. Like,
Right.
he gets a laugh line in there. I'm not gonna
Right.
lie, I've laughed at that dude plenty of times.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he constructs a little joke, he plays it enough times to get people to scream. But if you imagine as comics if the only rooms you ever played were 30,000 fans.
Oh, shit.
How would you ever work on shit?
Yeah.
How would you ever get better?
Right.
Like, all you would ever do is you would just double down on get her done. You know, you would
Yep.
just keep making that your thing.
The wall.
Yeah, or the wall.
The
Lock
wall.
her up. Whatever 3-syllable thing you could get out.
Right.
Goodness gracious. And it's just like he takes that on tour and hammers it into the ground.
I'm afraid he's going to win again, dude.
Oh, I'm
he's
super
definitely gonna
afraid
win
he's
again.
going to win.
He
You
is.
think definitely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
think he's
no
gonna win.
you have no like hope in mind. that
Dude,
it could go the
Democrats
other
are
way.
like the Detroit Lions. They're always going to fuck themselves one way or another. You know what I mean?
They're
I fucking love
super
my
good at
Lions,
it.
but we always find a way to fuck ourselves. And that's the Democrats. That's
Yeah.
fucking
Fact checking
Democrats.
says that is accurate. So.
Yeah, double check on that.
That's the one thing I
Oh,
can't
every
stand
time.
about Democrats is like,
Right.
you know, like whenever we have a Democrat that actually has fangs like Wiener, right? That
Anthony
guy
Weiner.
was a guy that we fucking needed. That guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he was one of those guys that would go toe to toe with Republicans and play their game back at them.
It is.
But then he just had to fucking like start showing his dick to everyone.
Yeah, but isn't it crazy though that the people who seem to throw the most weight around are the people throwing their dick around? Like, why is
it makes
that?
sense, right?
I guess.
Highly, I think it's well
That
known
just
that
upsets
highly
me 'cause I don't
successful
wanna get my
people
dick
are
out.
very sexual. Highly, what's that?
I said that upsets me because I don't want to get my dick out and I want to go far, but I won't. Is
You
that what
don't
you're
want
saying?
to get your dick out?
See, that's what now I'm all alone on the panel. I'm the only guy.
All I'm trying to do is find a way to get my dick out, man.
Do you think Joe Biden's gonna come back? You think he's
I
gonna
don't
run?
know.
He's polling insanely high. Like so,
Yeah.
I made a joke earlier about those two because they're not in the top like 5 of polling. Which polling, fuck you. Like Hillary Clinton was like 90% on the day. So
Right.
let's fuck poll it. But it is worth taking a look at and looking at the source and going, all right. And almost across the board, Biden's one of the only people in double digits. Bernie's like 11 or 12%, and then everybody else is like 4%, 3%, 2%. Tulsi Gabbard and Julian Castro are polling
Tulsi
it.
Gabbard, man, like that. She just might redeem it for the women, man. You know what I'm saying? Because she's a straight shooter. And I think the reason why a lot of people didn't vote for Hillary was because she's a piece of shit. She's a
You know,
fucking
and
piece of shit. She's a
first
piece
of all, I'm
shit.
going to say I don't totally disagree, but let me break it down and say why, which I think is more important than just saying that, which, I honestly, I voted for Hillary Clinton. I did, not in the primary, but in the general, because I'm not a fucking psychopath. And so, Jesus Christ. And so I didn't, but I begrudgingly did. I fought hard against her in the primary because I didn't think she was the right leader for us at the time. And then when she became the only other option, I jumped on board. But I agree that I think the big thing that Tulsi Gabbard has on her side, almost everyone running right now on the Democratic side, I will say this, almost everyone I've seen, no bullshit. Like almost everybody, at least at first glance, doesn't have that Clinton veneer of fakeness. Like, and I
It was
I
so
have
gross.
to say, I don't think she would have been bad at the job, but every time she spoke, I was like, you don't represent me.
Yep.
You're rich and fake.
And then-
I'm like poor and authentic to the core on both those things. I need someone who's supporting those people.
A little known fact here: the Clinton veneers you described is actually the skin they wear as lizard people.
Oh, right. That's very, very true. It's very true. She's a piece of shit lizard. That's what I think I forgot to say. Piece of shit lizard. Like, man, and here's the thing, man. This is why Democrats shoot ourselves in the fucking foot. And I don't consider myself a Democrat. I'm more of a liberal. Democrats. But the reason why liberals, I think, we constantly shoot ourselves in the foot is because we're critical thinkers. Republicans don't think critically. You know what I mean?
No, it kind of makes sense. They
don't,
just barrel on
They're
forward,
just like,
right?
what did he do? He fucked children? It's for Jesus. Jesus.
There was
Do it for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
like, that's what it is. And then
There was a
and then Democrats are like, oh, the fucking she's fake veneers. I ain't doing it. You know what I mean? And I think like the majority of liberals just stayed at home.
Yeah. No, 100%. There was a comic years ago. I think it was Christian Finnegan who had this bit that I thought about recently. I was like, that's how our democracy works. And it wasn't about politics at all. But he was like, do you remember that bully who used to beat the shit out of you? It might have been you. But you remember, like, that bully who used to beat the shit out of you? And then he'd be like, you'd try to like reason with him and
Yes.
talk your way out of it. And he'd go, and just like keep beating the shit out of you. And it's like, how come I never win?
Yeah.
I'm so much smarter.
Exactly.
But the point is that always wins.
Not
And
always.
almost always, dude. I didn't ever get up.
Yeah.
Never. Kept me down.
I look like a bully, but I was bullied, man.
Well, you're doing this.
I'm high.
So it makes sense.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we're all on the
exactly,
same page.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone beat the shit out of us, at least emotionally.
Right.
All right, let's move on. One of the things that happened this week, and we got into kind of a discussion about this in our writers' room, which is that. So I made a joke in the monologue about there's a Russia investigation inside a Russia investigation. So what really came out this weekend that I tried hard to dig into it and understand this. So let me try to just lay this out as quickly as I can. I've been trying to practice this so I can get it.
Okay.
It confused the shit out of me. I was like, what do you mean? Trump and Russia? I know it's all we've been talking about. But apparently... So there's been an investigation into whether or not Donald Trump colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election. That's the one we all know about, we've been talking about for a year and a half. The new one that has been going on the whole time that we just found out has been also going on is whether or not Donald Trump has been working with Russia the whole time. Like whether the wittingly or unwittingly was the wording. Like whether or not he even fucking means to. Is this guy a fucking pawn of the Russian government? Not just did he try to cheat to win the race, but like did he enter the fucking race because he's batting for these other people? And I think what we came to in the writers' meeting is yeah. For sure that's what's going on, right? Like he just wants to be, and I think Michael Regilio put it very well. He said that he went and met with Russians in the late 90s and they were like, you think you're fucking rich? Check this out. This is fucking rich. Like Russian oligarchs were like, this is what it means to run a fucking place, sir.
Right.
Trump Tower, eat our dick. There's no way. So
they got something on them.
Right.
Man.
Absolutely. And he just wants to be like them. He wants to be like the Russian oligarch of America, or like, you know, like the Saudis, right? Like he wants to do that same kind of shit.
Right.
I like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's my question.
To
like,
me, it's like nobody gives a fuck. That's the thing that really is like, what? Nobody cares.
Right.
If it was Obama, oof.
Yeah, Jesus.
If
If
it
he
was
had gone up at
Obama-
Helsinki and said like, Putin's a pretty great guy, good chat.
Oh, done.
Yeah.
I mean, they hated him for wearing a tan suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Who wore a tan suit?
Obama wore a tan suit, and the Republicans lost their fucking shit.
Yeah, it was the biggest
They
scandal
lost
for like
their
3
fucking
months.
shit. That's how clean Obama was.
Lil Wayne made a comment that said, too much money is still not enough money. So no matter how much money, when you get that like billionaire status, you just want now more money, more power. So if you're able to get it, whether it's legally or seemingly legally, then most people will go for it.
What if Donald Trump just goes and does like ayahuasca with Jim Carrey for the weekend? You know what I mean?
It's exactly what he needs to do.
He would come back and be like,
Why Jim
I don't know,
Carrey,
what
though?
was the fucking point? Why am I even, who cares? It's meaningless. Like, that's the way Jim Carrey talks about stuff now. He's like, yeah, I wrote myself a check for $10 million, cashed it, and was like, I'm still unhappy. Like, yeah, and he like immediately, and everyone's like, that guy's lost his fucking mind. I think he's on the fucking level. I think Donald Trump needs to chill with people like that.
I would love that, man. To me, it would be really great if we like got him super fucking high. Like we made him fast for an entire week, like they do with the ayahuasca retreat, and then you give him like too much mushrooms. Dude, I think he's gonna come out a totally different person, man.
Not enough time in the desert. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the word? I mean, okay, just humor me in my ignorance right now.
Dude, that's what this fucking show is.
Let's say Hillary had the same like Russian like everybody was cheating in this thing. Like why
And she still lost?
And she still lost.
Right.
Will we still give like Trump such a hard time on this? Like
if they
all
both
he did
were
was
doing it?
all that really kind of happened is that they did some exposure stuff. They falsified a little few things, but at the end of the day, it was up to them, I guess, American people, electorals, whatever.
It's our fault we got tricked.
A little bit to me.
Yeah, and it's not like, I think I read some report at some point that they were trying to like hack the voting machines. I don't think that was a successful thing that we're really talking about. What we're really talking about is, the WikiLeaks, the social media accounts that were falsified, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It is kind of, it's remarkable that that no one seems to give a shit. Like we still like don't seem to really care
Because we're polarized.
What do you mean? Like,
we
just like
only,
that's
we
why
only have a two-party system. When you only have two choices, yes, sure, we have the third parties, but they don't get their fair share in the media for exposure.
No.
So now we are like literally like every fucking 4 years, it's like, okay, guys, this is it. A bowl of shit. And another bowl of shit, but this one has a cherry on top. And they're like, there you go, guys. Which one do you want? That's where we're at.
Well, and that what happens is when you
And I think it polarizes the fuck out
does.
of us, so that now, like, I have a lot of Republican friends because I used to be in the Marine Corps. So I got like 40 Marines that are conservatives, and I play an experiment on my Facebook where when Obama was in office, I would actually post something that I didn't like about what Obama did. My liberal friends, quiet, or they would get angry, and my conservative friends, fuck yeah, awesome. Now it's completely flipped the other way around. And to me, I'm getting sick of seeing that pendulum swing and seeing liberals just waiting for the day that they can rue the day, and then conservatives playing the same fucking game.
It was such a blow, too, to the left to have Bernie lose the primary the way he did. And I, you know, as soon as that happened and into past once Trump was elected, I just shut the fuck up about that, because that was the quickest way to immediately alienate friends that were already on your side.
Exactly.
Was after the election of Trump to go, well, you fuckers picked Hillary. I tried to and no one wants to hear that, which is fine. But now it's been 2 years. I'm going to bring it up fucking again. Because it matters. It matters. They rigged the shit. He won every county in West Virginia and still lost the state in the primary. And that happened across the country. And when people on the left finally were like, a real person who doesn't take big money. He represents authentic poor people. Yay! Like, they all got all psyched. And then this fucking establishment that they've grown to hate and distrust proved them right, sunk that candidate into the ground from the moment it happened. I love that Nancy Pelosi's got the gavel back, but the day that she came on TV early in the primaries and was like, Hillary Clinton will be our nominee. I was like, you motherfucker!
I know.
Stop!
Yeah.
It's not your job to call it before the race starts.
Right.
It doesn't help anybody.
Right.
Oh, I'm upset now. So
I just
done.
hope. I really. I just hope we figure
fuck,
it out,
beer.
man.
Well, at least I know part of the reason was I know a lot of the black vote did not show up
Oh
because
hell no, they didn't.
shut the fuck up.
I know for a fact because I have rental properties in Detroit, and it was the only time I had like all the black people were not out at the polls. I would talk to the black people in Detroit. I'm like, are you voting today? Hell no, hell no, no one was
don't
voting.
like the Clintons. The Clintons
Yeah.
did worse for black people than most people would ever realize. The 3-strike rule.
Oh yeah,
was a Bill
absolutely.
Clinton
It's
thing.
super fucked up.
Then my grandfather was because originally from Arkansas before St. Louis. My grandfather was one of Bill Clinton's advisors down there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he was one of the people that Bill Clinton, gave some of that money or donations to the church and to push the vote through.
Right.
And then because of Bill Clinton, there was more people black people that went to jail under him than any other president, and a lot of them was like presidents combined.
And the black vote got him into office.
Yep.
Black vote
It's so funny. So I don't know if I've told this on the show before. So my dad has voted one time in his whole life. He's about to be 60. He voted once, and it was the first year my mom voted, and he did it to cancel out her vote. It's 100% true.
That's
so
hilarious.
my mom never gave a shit about fucking politics at all. And this is the way my dad tells the story. Your mom never paid any attention to politics. She never cared about any of that shit. And then this guy goes on Arsenio Hall and plays the saxophone, and all of a sudden she's going out at 1 a.m. to see a rally. Fuck that. So he voted for Ross Perot. He
hilarious.
literally took her vote away.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. A guy that is only be remembered as being played by Dana Carvey. That was his biggest accomplishment.
Hillary lost me when she went to that restaurant. She pulled hot sauce
Oh no.
out of her bag. Like
That didn't sway your vote, Willie? That didn't work on you? You didn't want a Pokemon go to the
I was
polls?
so mad. Like she was like, I got hot sauce, y'all, to all the black folks. It was like, come on, why you do that? No.
Do you think that like right now most black people are privy to what the Clintons did?
No.
I don't think so.
No, because in the primaries, it was upsetting to watch Hillary take the black vote from Bernie in county after county. It happened a lot. I don't know where the messaging struggle was, it was an easy message that Bernie was better for those communities. So like show the fucking shot of him being dragged away in the MLK riots. Like he put his fucking time in. But I don't know, it didn't hit. It really didn't hit. He did not do well with minorities. He barely was able to push the Hispanic vote, which is wild.
What blew me away was because I'm from Detroit and I'm from an area called Dearborn where there's like a lot of Muslims and Middle Eastern people that live there.
Right.
And I was proud of my town, man. Like Bernie Sanders resonated so well that he got all the Muslims in Dearborn to rally to vote for this Jewish guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty impressive.
Dearborn,
that's pretty impressive.
Dearborn, the whole fucking city voted for Bernie Sanders. Girls in hijabs are all out there. Let's vote for Bernie and shit. But to me, it's just that was very interesting because to me, I was kind of afraid. I was like, "Oh fuck, Dearborn, you're gonna disappoint me, aren't you?" But
well, and it didn't hurt that
case.
Hillary didn't go to the state.
That too.
She didn't go at all. She
Yeah.
took that vote for granted completely, and
Right.
it's like, hello, the Midwest is the most like financially insecure group of people that are like, someone tell us where our jobs are.
Exactly.
Like all you have to do is show up and be like, I'm gonna give you a job, even in a coal mine, and they're like, fine.
How
like,
arrogant is that? She didn't even campaign in
yeah,
Michigan.
absolutely
Because she
took it
would
for
have had to
granted.
have
Spent more
lied.
time in
It was
Iowa.
always blue. That's why.
Yeah.
Michigan was always blue. And
Right.
This is the first time it went red in a long time.
Actually, the reason she never went to Michigan is because it is too cold for lizards.
Fact checks.
We got Travis on for his
I keep
own
forgetting about that
callbacks.
shit, bro. Yeah.
I love it.
It's very true, man. Or if she goes, she goes with a heat lamp.
So
She fucking comes with a
let's
fucking
talk about this.
keeps it close to her.
Their eyes slowly blink one at a time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, this Russia investigation, I got a little sidetracked on that. But no, let's talk about this really quickly. So is there any chance, let's just put the 2020 away for a second. Is there any chance that you guys think that Donald Trump faces any criminal charges for anything ever?
No.
He's got too much money, dude.
It's not even just the.
He's got too much money. There's no way. And-
Everybody under him's going to jail.
yeah, but he's gonna
everybody.
pardon all of them.
Do you think he's gonna do like George H.W. did on the last day?
Fuck yeah.
Oh my God, that would
The
not
only
surprise
way,
me.
the only way those guys under him are fucked is if they all go to prison and then they really find a way to get Trump into prison. Then he's fucked. But
Here's the thing that I read about that I didn't realize. So George H.W. Bush pardoned everyone who was involved in Iran-Contra, that whole scandal that happened during the Reagan administration. He pardoned them all on like his last day in office in December, and pretty much let everybody get away with it. The guy who worked for him, who told him to do that, his name is William Burr. He is Aaron Burr's son, I think. That's how old he is. And he is going to be the new Attorney General. He's Jeff Sessions' replacement. So I wonder if he'll suggest to Donald Trump that he pardon everyone.
Oh,
That's
no.
his fucking thing.
For sure
I
it's
think you
gonna
called it,
happen.
man. That's for sure going to happen.
has to happen. I mean, like a lot of these guys are fucking biting it, man. But yeah, fuck Trump. Yeah, for real though, man. But at the same time, man, like, I got nothing.
Let's
Willie.
say they do. Trump is guilty of all these charges. Russia, like they have all the facts. I think people are more scared of having Mike Pence than Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you
Mike
guys think?
Pence-
I think
What-
Agreed.
No.
Yeah. What
Really?
scares you more about
you guys
Mike
are
Pence?
not that scared of Pence.
To me, he seems like fucking George W. Bush to me. He seems like a classic. He seems like a classic fucking politician, a regular Indiana Republican, fucking corn-fed white
He's got
boy.
really weird fucking ideas.
No, he's got
man.
weird
He
ideas,
really
but
believes
he's not
in
a.
like deprogramming gay people.
He's
like, that
out.
shit
No, the
still works.
conversion therapy. But dude, conversion therapy is like the one thing people bring up about Pence. What's the next thing that makes him more outrageous than most Republicans?
Listen, all
Right?
I know is there's Republicans that are afraid of him. So that makes me go, okay, maybe I really should be afraid
Who's
of him.
afraid of him?
I have Republican friends that are like terrified. They're just like, man, if Trump goes, fuck Pence.
So
man,
what do
don't
they
want
think's
Pence.
gonna happen if Pence gets in charge that's not happening now?
Well, because he's fucking nuts, man. He's a religious freak.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think and this is me as an atheist who grew up in the South. in a very Christian family who rebelled hard. I still trust the Christian dude over the crazy dude. I do, because at least I feel like
this is not a factor of opinion. I don't trust anyone who calls their wife mother.
That's fair.
Oh,
no, that's
right.
fair. And again.
Oh, that's so gross.
Again, we're.
Not mommy.
That fact brought to you by Alex Kane, everybody.
No, he
Alex
does.
Kane.
That's true.
Does he fucking say it when he comes? Oh, mother.
Also, another fact,
my
Mike
God.
Pence does not come. It all has to stay inside.
He does look like he's holding in 60 years of cum, doesn't he?
He right? Right? Like,
That's why his hair is
Like that
white.
look that he had. Do you see him in the Oval Office meeting when Nancy and Trump were like yelling at each other? Fucking Pence was there too, and no one reported on it. It's because he looked like Ben Carson over there, like fucking like he was dealing with a hernia or something. It was brutal.
when you're vice president, you don't got shit to do.
It's
really.
a good point. All you'd have to do is show up and defend your boy, right? That's pretty much it.
That's it.
He's
He ain't
basically
been
like
doing that.
he's
He's
like a
been quiet.
half-ass hype man, right? Do we have Travis? By chance, do we have any of our best and brightest YouTube comments? Anybody who's watching this shit?
Let's see here. Alan Squad says Matt Patricia has one more year to prove himself.
Who's Matt Patricia? What does that have to do with? Oh, okay. Okay.
Lions,
Detroit. We talked about that. All right.
It's really? We've been talking about all fucking politics, and you're like, okay.
People watch this show
That's
for
the
the
comment-
sports talk,
that's the
Mike. That's
comment
why
that we
people
have.
tune in.
And also,
Basically, I pissed off a Lions fan. It's like great.
Oh, and when you rewatch this, by the way, for the beginning monologue, Willie Macc can be seen in frame, and then Erickson commented, it looks like only Willie Macc is there to watch the show. So I highly recommend rewatching that, and believe it or not, there's more people than just Willie Macc here, guys. Just
I am
FYI.
not
So
mad
I'm not
about
in
it at
frame, is
all.
what you're saying?
No, when I was sitting
No,
right
his
there.
head. It's
Oh.
like
Yeah,
Mystery
during the
Science
monologue.
Theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what
putting
the
on a
fuck?
show just for Willie Macc.
That's okay, because normally when I perform here, I'm just doing it for Travis, so that's fine. That's my whole audience. Thank you guys so much for being here. Do you have any plugs, anything you want to throw out? Willie, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I got for everybody that's watching in Chicago, I'll be out there February 1st and 2nd. I'll be in South Dakota February 21st through 23rd, and Phoenix in April. I forget the date. And lastly, February 4th, I'll be at the Laugh Factory in the New Faces of Comedies.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. You must have some white fans going to South Dakota, dude.
I have mainly white fans. I've been on BT and black people hate me.
And I thank you so much for being on this show, Willie.
Thank
It was
you.
fantastic. Yeah, Mike, you got anything coming up, buddy?
Yeah, I'll be in Sacramento this weekend at Laughs Unlimited the entire weekend. Was it a Friday, January 18th through the 20th? And then I will be at Joker's in Indiana February 1st and 2nd.
Say what up to the Pences while you're there.
Yeah, sure. I'll shit in their coffee.
That's going to be fantastic. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a wonderful panel. I want to say thank you to all my guests. So to Willie, to Mike, to Hannah Canetti, and Stephen Friedrich. Thank you guys so much for being here. Next week, we have a fucking awesome show for you. We're going to keep rolling with this. We have reality TV producer Adam Rea will be here. One of my lovely writers is our contributor for next week, Mr. Alex Kane. And also our panel, Olivia Hill and Chris Rubio, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Good night and more than likely good morning.
Yeah.
All right.
Go Lions!